At this moment in economics class, we shall continue from where we stopped in our public finance 1. Today, we want to further our analysis under public finance that we call public finance 2. Here, we want to be looking at the importance of taxation. We'll also look at the economic effect of taxation and problems associated with collection of taxation in our own economy here in Nigeria. Importance of taxation. I haven't explained what taxation implies in our last class. Let us look at the importance or the functions that we can see in taxation. That is, what are the reasons why government impose taxes? Right? So there are many reasons, but we are going to look at the few that we have before us here. The first one, to raise revenue. We've said that government in the economy in order to carry out some functions. But for government to be able to perform its own function, then there is a need to raise revenue. So government raises revenue through taxation. So government is doing it, or government is imposing on people or on goods and services in order to raise revenue so as to perform its own function in the economy. Number 2, to redistribute income. When we say to redistribute income, we say that among the role of government and economy is to close the gap between the rich and the poor. So government use taxation to redistribute income, taking from those earning higher income in order to give to those that are earning lower income. We are not saying that people earning lower income are not going to pay that, but they are going to use it in redistributing income so that there won't be gap, or there won't be much gap between the rich one and the poor one, so that in the economy they can move forward. Each and everyone will be able to benefit from what government has produced. Or not only that, without discriminating in terms of social classes. Number 3, to control inflation. To control inflation in the economy, we have also explained what we mean by inflation in our 2 or 3 classes ago. That inflation implies increase in general prices of goods and services. But for us to be able to control the rate of inflation in the economy, government make use of taxation in doing that. That is, by increasing tax, people won't be able to have much money in their hand to use. So that is, trying to reduce the volume of money in the circulation. So whenever there is a need to pump more money into the circulation, government can now reduce tax so that people can have more or pay little for a service or for a commodity. So government uses taxation to control inflation. Number 4, to protect infant industries. When you say infant industry, we are talking about newly established firms in an industry. So in an economy, they try to protect those firms so that the outside or the existing firm or the foreign firm will not jeopardize or destroy the activities of those people firms in the industry. So what we are trying to understand here that for the baby industry to grow, they need to be protected against the external forces, even against the existing firms, so that more firms can be available in all the industries that we have. So government uses taxation to protect infant industries so that they can grow as the existing ones are growing. Not only that, to protect against external forces. The 5th one, to discourage consumption of harmful goods. Government also uses taxation in discouraging people in consuming harmful products, e.g. cigarettes. So goods that are not good for the people, government will use tax in discouraging them by increasing the tax on that commodity so that the consumption will be very low. So that is one of the reasons why government imposes tax. The 6th one says to correct adverse balance of payment. If an economy is experiencing unfavorable balance of payment, then taxation can be used in correcting it. Maybe looking at those elements that they have in the balance of payment in order to see that the balance of payment is at equilibrium. If not at equilibrium, but to be at moderate, so that it will not cause an adverse effect on the economy. So whenever an economy is having a problem in the balance of payment, taxation can be used in correcting that. The 7th one, to prevent dumping of goods. Prevent dumping of goods. That is, the external If care is not taken, the goods and services produced in this economy might be destroyed or might be put into danger by the external factor or external forces. That is, bringing in their own goods into that economy, selling it at what? Below the cost of production of such goods in that economy. That is, if in that economy they are producing a commodity. So if another firm or another foreign firm just come in now and start selling that below the cost of what they are producing it, then the economy is becoming a dumping ground. So the existing firm or industry won't be able to sell their own goods when they produce because of the foreign factors that have destroyed their own activity due to dumping of goods in that economy. So these are some of the important of taxation that we can analyze for now. Economic effects of taxation. Number one, effect on demand and production. What is the effect of taxation on demand and production? We have analyzed it that demand and tax, they have inverse relationship. That if there's an increase in tax, there will be a decrease in the demand of goods and services. Right? So how is it going to affect production? One, there is a fall in the demand of goods and services. So producers will not further their production. So there will be a fall in production because demand is not increasing. So the effect on demand production is that where there is an increase in tax, there will be a fall in demand, which in turn decreases production. But where there is a decrease in tax, people will demand for more of goods and services, and producers will increase their production. Number two, effect on employment. How is taxation going to affect employment? We understand that when we are talking about employment, ability to use the resources that you have so that more output can be gotten. Or ability where people are able to get one or two things doing in order to earn income and live fine. But a situation where there is an increase in tax by government is going to affect production because producers will pay more on acquiring input to be used towards production. So in that case, the output will reduce. And as the output is reducing because of increase in the cost of obtaining input, so they will try to reduce the number of employment that they have. That is, where there is tax, it will reduce employment that they have in the economy because resources will not be used because of tax. But a situation where there is a decrease in tax, right, it will motivate firms, business firms, or producers to further their output because there is a decrease in the tax. So they will be able to acquire more input and be able to produce more and create more jobs. So that's the effect of taxation on employment. Number three, effect on growth. When we are talking about growth in an economy, we are looking at increase in output per annum. So how is taxation is going to affect the increase in output? The economic situation of the country will determine if there is a need to increase tax or to decrease tax. A situation where the economy is having a problem, the government needs to reduce tax in order to motivate producers to further their production, particularly if the economy is having economic recession. So they need to motivate the producers in the economy so that they can boost their output. On the long run, there will be an increase in growth. But a situation where the economy is growing, but care needs to be taken when it comes to taxation. So the situation on the ground will determine if there is a need to increase tax or to decrease tax. So if the economy is experiencing economic recession, it's advisable for the economy to reduce tax so that more output can be produced. But if it is not, then the situation will dictate if to increase it or not. But mostly, when the economy is having economic recession, it's advisable to reduce tax so that there can be increase in output, and at the end, the economy will have economic growth. Number four, effect on government revenue. When we say government revenue, we are talking about income that's accrued to the government so that government can carry out its own function in an economy. How is it going to affect? The effect is that if there's an increase in tax, government will be able to have more income to use toward producing goods and services that they need in the economy, that is, essential goods and services that they need in the economy. But in a situation where there's a decrease in tax, then it will affect the government. See, there will be a fall in government revenue, and government will be able to have more income to use toward providing essential goods and services. Only if there is no other alternative that government can use in sourcing for revenue. So if you hold other sources of revenue constant, that is only revenue, only tax that we have in the economy, definitely it will have negative effect on government if there is a decrease in tax. But when there is an increase in tax, so it will allow government to have more revenue to use toward providing essential services or essential toward providing social infrastructure that they need in the economy. Problems associated with tax collection in Nigeria. So we have some before us. There are many problems that they encounter when they are trying to collect tax. But the first one we have is inaccurate records of business transactions and income. That is, the tax collectors find it difficult in assessing, likewise in collecting taxes from business firms and income earners as a result of inaccurate record that they have. So if they cannot give them accurate record, so it will be a problem when it comes to assessing and collecting tax, either from the firm side or from the income earner side. Number two, high incidence of tax evasion and tax avoidance. We discovered that people are trying to dodge in paying tax and also avoid in paying tax. So at the end of the day, it becomes a problem on the side of a tax collector, even tax assessor. Because when they cannot find them in collecting, some people understand what they are going to pay, they try to evade. And some people are trying to avoid completely. So it is a problem on the side of a tax collector. Number three, high cost of collecting taxes. Another problem that they encounter while collecting taxes is from the side of the cost of collection. It costs lots of money in collecting taxes, either on the side of a producer or consumer, even on the goods and services that they buy in the economy. So if the cost of collecting is so high, then at the end of the day, it will be meaningless, because we say that one of the principles of taxation is it should be economical. That is, what you are going to spend should not be much. So if you are spending much in collecting taxes, then it is not economical. So it is at the end of the day, it becomes a waste of resource, because you must pay for transporting, you must pay for administration, and so on and so forth. So high cost of collecting tax is another problem that they encounter when the tax office or tax collectors are trying to get the revenue. The fourth one is presence of corruption. And when I say presence of corruption, a situation where we have dishonest tax assessors, dishonest tax collectors. So at the end of the day, government will not get the accurate amount because of these people dishonesty that they have toward their job. So when they are not doing their job according to the stipulated rules, so at the end of the day, in collecting taxes, it will be a problem. Government will not get the accurate amount as a result of the staff, the officials that they have. So the collector, they are not straightforward. One way or the other, they collect money from people. Or when they collect, they don't remit the accurate amount. Or they fail to assess the payer accordingly. So at the end of the day, it becomes a problem. That's why I say presence of corruption. Then the last one, many people are engaging in subsistence production. Many people are engaging in subsistence production. That is, when you are into subsistence production, you are not asked to pay tax. Only commercial production. But if we have large number of people engaging in this, then what government is going to have as its revenue on the long run. So it becomes a problem in tax collection, because people will be telling them, that is not, well, they are not into commercial production, they are in subsistence production. So there won't be money because there's no money from that angle. So it becomes a problem when it comes to collection of taxes. Examples. Question 1. Government imposes taxes towards encouraging A. Smuggling of goods, B. Protecting infant industries, C. Allowing dumping of foreign goods, D. Fighting corruption. The right answer is B. Protecting infant industries. Question 2. If there is an increase in taxes on goods, what effect will it have on demand? A. Decrease, B. Increase, C. Positive, D. Negative. The right answer is negative effects. Question 3. Increase in taxes will result to A. More revenue to government, B. Increase in production, C. More social amenities, D. Corruption in the economy. The right answer is A.